Hello everyone. For today's video I'm going to just do a very simple pattern for somebody that's just starting out. Now I'll put the colors and everything in the description like always, but I just have 3 colors because when people are just starting out they usually don't have very many supplies. So I got the black because that's what I painted the background, and I got the white so I can lighten this darker pink color. And that, so I just found my center point, and I'm going to do one other line further out with my compass. Now the only reason why I'm doing this line is because when I first started out it was hard to keep my dots even going around the circle. So I just made a line. It doesn't matter where your line really is. I just made it so that I can center my dots over this and I don't have to try and keep them inside the range of this. Now I just, when I paint, I know how far it's going to expand and I just move them in and dot around the edge. But for new people it's easier to like straddle the line with your dot to keep them centered going all the way around. So that's why I did that line. And all I'm really going to do is a very basic pattern. So let's start out. I'm going to do a row of white first. Well, a center dot in white, I should say. And I like to use the number 10 a lot, so let's just use the number 10 for ease. Okay, and now we're going to keep it very simple. I'm just going to do a row of dots around that. And I'm going to do them with this pink, which is dragon fruit. Doesn't matter what color you have. Any color will do. So I'm going to pour some of that in my palette. And I'm going to use a fairly big dot because if you're new, it's hard to do the tiny little dots. So let's start with something a little bit bigger. This is the number 4, and I'm just going to do a dot on the top and on the bottom and then one on either side. And when I paint, I like to base everything off of other dots because the less lines you have, the easier it is to remove them in the end. So now we're going to do one dot in between each one of those, for a total of 8 dots. Now I like to do even number dots. I try not to just start dotting and dot around because sometimes you end up with an odd number of dots, and then if you want to skip some, it won't come out even. So I always try to make sure I have an even amount of dots going around. So let's go, I'm going to do another row, still with the number 4, out from that. And by that I mean put a dot right in between the previous row's dots. Try and keep them so that they don't touch. But are as close as you can get them. And that's going to take practice. You'll probably overlap a little bit, and that's okay. Okay, now what I like to do, and what other people seems really appealing to them, is the color fades. So that's what we're going to do. And what I mean by that is we're just going to go and we're going to add a little bit of white to our pink paint so that it has a shift in color, makes it lighter, but not extremely way lighter. Now we're going to do another row, and as you go out, I always go up 1. So let's go up to the number 5 and do another row just like we did the previous ones, this time with the new color that we just made. Okay, and then I'm going to do yet another row, but I'm going to go up to the number 6, and I'm going to use that same color that we just made. All right. Now our next one will be with the number 7, but we're going to lighten the color again first. So I always like to get my tool, and this is the number 7 here, and I'll set it here so I know that that's what my next one's going to be as I mix the paint. So I'm going to add just a little bit more white to this paint. So now we're going to do another row with the number 7. Okay, and then I'll do another row with the number 8. I like to do 2 rows of each color. Okay, and now I'm going to add quite a bit of white. First I'm going to get my number 9 ready here and set that right here where I know where it is. And then I'm going to add more white. And I'm going to get quite a bit because I want it to be really light this time, because this is probably going to be the last color I lighten till. Okay, so that's a really pastel-y pink now. So we're on to the number 9, and I'm going to do another row. Okay, and then the number 10. Okay, and then we're going to leave it that as that for now. And you see how the color fades from dark to light. Now for my row going around that I made the line for, I think I'm just going to make that in white. And so I'm going to go with a number 6. Now this, I'm really not super concerned about it coming out completely even, because I wasn't really going to base anything off of it. But if you're worried about it, you can always do like this and separate it into quarters and then separate it out and do it that way. If you're going to base something, if I start my pattern from my outside in, I like to make sure I have enough, and then I'll do it like quarter it, and then do half of the quarters and then half of those all the way around. But I'm not going to base anything off of that, so I'm just going to dot on it. And when I'm placing my dot, I'm watching that line. I'm trying to keep the distance apart the same, and I'm straddling that line so that my dots will be the same distance from the edge. And then when I get closer to the other dot, like here, now I'm going to judge. I might be able to fit 3 dots there, but I'm not going to attempt it. So I'm going to split the difference so that they look evenly spaced. And I put 2. But as I'm going, when there's a big long area here, I just try and keep them even as far as apart. And then when it gets down to where I only got enough room for 2, maybe 3 dots, then I got to judge it. You know, I'm getting there again. Now I can fit 2 in there. So you want to make sure that you kind of evenly space it, because if I bump it way close to that, then this one's going to have too much space. But you want to make it so they don't touch if you can help it. Now I usually won't top dot on a color fade just because I like to see the color fade. And when you top dot on it, it takes away from that. So I think I'm going to put a little bit more around here, just so you get practice. Let's go to a number 3, and I'm going to put a dot right on top of this outer pink row. Now, if you're not comfortable walking dots, you don't have to do this part. But this is just extra practice. That's why I get these little wood rings or circles or whatever you want to call them, because they're very inexpensive, and if you mess it up, you mess it up. And they make cute little magnets. So now I'm still with the number 3, and I'm going to walk my dots down each side. Now if you have to turn it, then turn it. Because when I first started, I couldn't do both sides facing this way. I would do one, and I'd go all the way around, and then I'd flip it the other direction and do it, because it was easier for me to see. And it just takes practice. Now also, if you're new and you're walking dots, it doesn't matter how many dots you do on each side. People aren't going to notice that. You just want to make them, walk them down, and get them the same distance in. So some might have 5 and some might have 4 or 3. It doesn't matter. Don't be so critical on yourself that it didn't come out perfect, because nobody's going to notice it but you. I guarantee that. Okay, and now I'm going to come in with the full strength color just to add a little bit more, and I'm going to do a dot off of these, a decent size. Let's go with number 8, and you can do this with any color that you have. It doesn't have to be a pink color. It could be blue, purple, whatever you got. And then I think I want one in the center here, so I'm going to go with the number 7 for that. And then for a little bit of extra practice on top dotting, let's go with, let's see if a number 3 is too big. Yeah, number 3 should work. We'll dot on all these around the edge with that full strength color. And just do one dot on each one. I'll put a link in the description. I always do. If you look at any of my videos, I put what colors I used, what type of paint I used, what tools I used. If I'm doing a rock, what mold I used, or if it's a natural rock. Just read the description and you'll see all that information. But if you want these dotting tools like I have, there will be the URL to where I got them in the description. And it's not any particular reason I use these. I got them because they're numbered and it's easier for people to follow along. But there's many different companies that make similar tools. There, and there we have it. And I'm not going to top dot that center because I like to see the fade. Now, you are more than welcome to do whatever you want on yours. But that's just a very simple design for somebody new to practice on, to get their spacing correct. And I think it's cute, makes a cute little fridge magnet. If you want to make it into a magnet, I always use this E6000. This stuff, it comes in clear, comes in white. Clear you won't see. This is the clear. And this will hold the magnets on there fantastic on the back side. And you can use any kind of magnet you want. But that's what I do. So, thank you for watching my video. If you're not a subscriber, I'd love to have you. And I will talk to you all tomorrow. See you for now. Bye.